अस्सलाम वालेकुम वरहमतुल्लाहि वबरकातुहू एवरीवन। आज मैं बड़ा एक्साइटेड हूँ। आई हैव अ स्पेशल गेस्ट दैट आई शेयर टू स्कूल्स विद, नॉट ओनली वन। तो मेरे साथ आज हैं जी तैयब अली। और तैयब is a NUST graduate, obviously, but he is also a graduate of cadet called Hassan Abdal. So when I was in second year, I believe Tayyab was in the eighth class, right?
Yes.
So we had an overlap. We were in the same wing in cadet called Hassan Abdal, Heather wing. I was from 38th entry. Tayyab was from 42nd. Or फिर Tayyab went to MCS, did his bachelor's in software engineering. Tayyab batch 6 था आपका
Yes.
computer science का software engineering. Okay, good. So so we shared two schools, or I remember, before we get into the introduction of Tayyib by himself, Tayyib was a absolute fantastic diver. In addition to being a very good swimmer, I still remember our swimming competition when Tayyib was about to make the dive, or one of my entry mates made the comment, "ये dive Tayyib की अच्छी है. You're gonna get good points on this." So some of the things that you may not even know, but yeah, we were banking on your excellent performance so that our wing could go forward. Okay, enough of the background info. तो तैयब, आप हमें खुद अपने ज़बानी बताएं कि आपका जर्नी नस्ल के साथ कहाँ से स्टार्ट हुआ, यहाँ पर आप कहाँ पे हैं, कैसे आए, क्या कर रहे हैं? सो ओवर टू यू।
Assalamualaikum, man. First of all, I'll call you Bhaijan because that's what I used to call you, Nasir Abdal. So I hope it's okay with all the Nashtians. Um, my journey, obviously, Hassan Abdal, I went to MCS, batch 6, like you mentioned, 2000 to 2004. Then I've actually a funny story to share. One of our very good Nastian friends, and also an Abdali, his name is Usman Mughal. He was actually applying for this French scholarship at that time. And I think it was the last day, and he was like, I'm going to apply. You should also come along with me. So I just tagged along. And we did all the paperwork and we applied. And then we had interview, and then I got selected. So I went to Paris for Masters in AI and Image Processing, which finished in 2005. And I decided to come back to Pakistan. I wanted to serve the nation by coming back. And then I stayed there for 4 years. And that's when I came to US. And I went to Kuwait first, and then I came for a project with my employer at that time to US in 2010. And in 2017 is when I started this company, AlphaBoard, along with a few team members. And so far, it has been great, and we are enjoying our journey and growing. Alhamdulillah, so it's all good.
जबरदस्त। ये तो where are you based out of? आप यहाँ यूएस पे कहाँ पे हैं?
I am in California, sunny San Diego. It's the south of California. That's where I am.
जबरदस्त जबरदस्त। When did you start your Alpha Bold journey, and what got you into it?
So I was into consulting. I was working for a firm here in north of San Diego County. There's a small town called Carlsbad, and I was working for a consulting firm over there. And I remember I was about to have my third kid, and I took some time off, and it didn't really help much with my kid. My wife can hold me accountable as she always does. But I got some time to reflect on what I was doing, and I thought that I have had enough experience to be able to do something of my own. But my biggest driver, to be honest, was that I wanted more ownership. I wanted to be able to do things that I was passionate about over and above the 9 to 6 job, which obviously one is always on how you can contribute back to your country where you come from, and secondly you also want to be able to to contribute towards the well-being of everybody in the world to the extent that you can. And I thought that if you have something of your own, then you have a better chance of being in a position to be able to do that. So those were kind of my drivers other than work. And from the work standpoint, I was always very passionate about technology and solving problems. And I felt that doing having your own company, you could set the right values for the organization, have the right ethos of the organization. So I thought that I'll probably give it a go. So we started in June 2017. And like I said, it's been almost 6 years now. It was our sixth year in June this year. Our fiscal year starts from 2018. So from that standpoint, it's going to be our sixth year by the end of this year. But this is our sixth year going, and we have an offshore office in Pakistan. We have our office here in US as well. We maintain that 30-70 split. We are around 120 employees now. So it has been, alhamdulillah, very rewarding and very fulfilling as well.
Nice, mashallah. So you have 30% of the workforce here, 70% of the workforce in Pakistan. तो अब ये बताएं कि आप लोग करते क्या हैं in not too technical terms.
Yeah, I think I can probably do a good job at that because I also get involved with sales now. So I try not to be very technical. But what we do is we try to find businesses who are struggling with the process automation. Sometimes they are totally paper based, and we can bring in systems. And I'll tell you more about those systems in a bit. Sometimes they have those systems, but they're not integrating, so we can integrate those. Sometimes they have systems they integrate, but they don't have reporting and insight, so we can do those. So essentially, what we try to do is we try to identify gaps in a business process, and then we try to bridge that gap either on process automation, like improving that business process, which is kind of business consulting, or by bringing in technology and mapping those processes to technology and then automating that so that there could be more productivity and efficiency gains for those organizations. So that's at the core of it, that's what we do. So we consult and then we bring in technology and we implement that technology to help those organizations grow.
Zabardast. So, what are the biggest challenges in starting a new company?
Yeah, I think, first of all, I would say it depends. Secondly, I would say it's very contextual based on who you are talking to, what they're doing, what drives them, what do they want to achieve in their life. But I think some of the challenges that are, I would say, common to any business are you got to be ready to put in the hours, which also, by the way, means that you have to sacrifice a lot. So before starting this company, I felt that probably that was the best thing to do for everybody. But now, if I'm advising people, I would say you could be doing really well without having your own company. You could be earning really well. You could still be owning a portion of the business, have good credibility and workforce that you drive. So there are lots of things that you can check off without having your own company. So you really got to know why you're doing what you're doing. So I would say the first thing is the biggest challenge is you need to be aligned in your mind as to why you're starting your own company because it is difficult. It has a lot of, and the difficulty is not just working hard. It has a lot of stress associated with that. So you have to manage people, you have to onboard people, you have to make sure that there's enough work for everybody in the organization. You have to handle things. For example, when COVID happened, you have to navigate through those things, and you have to realize that there are families that are dependent on you, not just the people who work with you. But on the core fundamentals, so this is kind of outside, that's more like a mindset challenges that you have. But on the core execution of the business, you got to understand the whole ecosystem of the business you're going to be working in. And I'm not at all saying that you got to know all that before you start, but you need to be ready to embrace all those challenges. So, in order to run a successful business, you need to have a marketing engine. You need to have a sales machine that could sell. Then, whatever they are selling, be it a product, be it service, you got to be able to deliver. You have to have customers that are referenceable, that are happy, who could serve as customers, being raving fans for you. And then you got to have a support plan, be it if it's a product and aftermarket support, if it's a service, then just to be able to support that. And each of these verticals has its own challenges. So you got to be ready to dive in, understand. And there are different leadership styles. My style is more, I like to learn first myself, execute to the extent that I understand the intricacies of those processes and problems. And then I like to build upon that. So for me, it's always going one vertical, going to the other one, and then going that. So it's more like organic versus there are people who believe in bringing in people and you can raise funds and then you can bring in more people who are experts in all of them and then go through that. So there could be different strategies around that. And depending upon your strategy, it could be less challenging than some of the others. But I would tell you that every day is a challenge, but I'll also share with you that it's very rewarding at the end of it. And it's not just the success part of it which is rewarding. For me, the biggest reward is the sense of ownership that you have, uh, the ability that your own business gives you to be able to do things for rest of the people who you cannot otherwise touch if you're working 9 to 6, and how you can contribute to the society. I think for me that is the biggest driver for having my own business, which is a challenge as well if you think of it that.
That's great. Thanks for sharing. Um, so in those early times when things are not necessarily taking off, and you are questioning your decision, that why did I do this, and people around you might also be questioning, like, what did you get yourself into? How, uh, if you have navigated those times, how did you manage to navigate those? और आपके लिए ड्राइविंग फोर्स क्या थी?
I think I would say, when first of all, you need to have a good support system. So I would say my wife has been my greatest support. If there's one person who worked harder than I did when I was running Alpha Board, it was her. Because I have 3 kids. So she had to like put in a lot of hours, because most of the time I didn't have time for her and the kids. So kudos to her for that. But thing that keeps you going is once you jump in, I had a good start. I was very, very lucky. Alhamdulillah, we were able to get a few projects. We were able to get things going. We also had someone who invested money in our business. So that makes things easier. You're not taking that much of a risk. So that was good. And our growth skyrocketed in the first 2 years. We started hitting challenges more about sustaining that growth. So it's all contextual. I can share with you my problem, but for those of you, especially Nastians who are listening, I would say it's very difficult to learn it from others because they can tell their stories, but it's so contextual based on the person, where they are in their life, where they are in their business, what are the microeconomics, macroeconomics, everything has an impact on it. But from my standpoint, we really started having challenges around that COVID time frame. That's where I started receiving calls where, okay, how can you help us? A customer would call you and you would be like, okay, I don't know how to navigate this space, right? So then you obviously need to believe, you really need to dig deeper. And if you have built a good team, and when I say good team, I'm not just talking about people who can deliver. So what we did really well, I think, right from the onset was we defined who we are as an organization. And Alpha Bowl, if you ask anybody, is a combination of three things. We call it gold triangle: our purpose, our mission statement, our vision, and then we have values. And our purpose has always been, we want to be able to do welfare for board enthusiasts. Board enthusiasts are people who work at Alpha Board. That's how we refer to them. And then welfare for board community. And board community, the way we define it is it's everybody else around the world. So when we say welfare for them, it automatically sets some of the parameters for the organization in place. And I'll come to that in a second. But then our vision and mission statement was always that we want to build cool solutions, deliver 10x value, have customer success, where customers are happy with what we are doing. And we didn't have any reference of technology in there. So we were always like, it doesn't matter what technology we use. Technology for us was always means to the end. The end was solving a problem. And then we had 4 core values: trust, accountability, bold belief, which is our idea. We give 10% or more of our profit back to the community every year. And then last one, which is we wanted people who are enthusiastic about technology and customer service. So we wanted to grow, and we wanted this triangle to help us navigate through every challenge. And what I have learned, and this is my advice to everybody listening, that have that strong foundation of your organization, and also make sure you're very honest to people about that. No organization would be perfect. So is Alpha Board perfect? Do we totally align with these three vertices? No, but it helps us navigate those difficult times. So, for example, when we went through those difficulties, we knew that if our purpose is welfare for board enthusiasts, we have to invest in our people. So we'll cut down our profits, but we'll invest in our people. If we want to have a purpose welfare for board community, we need to continue on bold belief and continue to donate 10% or more of our profit. So we always kept on doing that. And we just tried to cut corners on other things where we could reduce costs. But that way, we always stayed aligned. We didn't necessarily have issues there. We had other challenges like navigating through execution of the projects, customer service, dealing with some of the challenges that the customers were having, those kind of challenges. But at the core of it, I think we were solid and we had a strong leadership team. Also, everybody listening should understand that an individual is nothing. It's always as a group that you can achieve a lot more. And if the group has a common vision, then obviously your probability to get to the end and succeed is a lot higher. So you need to have that strong team, and we were very lucky. Alhamdulillah, we have an amazing leadership team. We all believe in the same values, vision, purpose. So that has helped us a lot as well in navigating those challenging times.
Great. Thank you, Tayyab. So, how has your journey been so far?
I think, in one word, if I have to summarize it, I would say thank God that it has been great. I think Allah has been very kind with us. We have never had to fire anybody because we don't have work. We have never had a year, Alhamdulillah, where we have not grown. We have been able to stay aligned with our purpose, vision, and values, like I explained. So it has been a great journey. It is something that we wanted to do as an organization. The things that we had in mind that we want to hit, the targets that we want to hit, we've always been able to do that. So far, Alhamdulillah, it has been amazing. On a personal side, it has been a little challenging because you have to give up on a lot of things. But let's focus on the professional side of things for now.
So, have you given up on swimming?
Yes, I gave up swimming. So at first, I would say 4 years. I worked 5 days. I never worked on Sundays, or 6 days, but I worked 6 days, lots and lots of hours. Now I'm not working on Saturdays as well. It started happening 4 months ago. So you can imagine we are 5.5 years in. We are close to 120 employees, but I would say that's a good frame of reference for people who want to start their business, that it takes you around 5+ years to get to a point where your life will start stabilizing it and things would be stable around you. So yeah, you have to give up on a lot, swimming and a lot of things. I gave up on cricket and I started playing again and broke my finger.
Oh,
So see, you get bad at stuff. I was a good fielder, so I would not be the one who would break their finger catching the ball. But I guess I've lost that mojo now.
well, I wish you speedy recovery on that, Tayyab.
Thank you, man.
So, what are your future plans for Alpha Bold?
We have obviously huge plans. We want to obviously continue to grow the way we've been doing. We are expecting that economic indicators would be better in 2024, so we can ride on that wave. But at the core of it, we just want to stay aligned with that goal triangle that I was talking about. And the way people ask me a lot about what are your growth plans, we grow around 10-15% every year. And we are happy with that as long as we stay true to the ethos of the organization. So I'm not a huge believer in having huge growth plans, but obviously there are initiatives that we have started. We have one that I would like to share with you. It's called Bold Bus, which started this in Pakistan, where we have built it's a computer lab on wheels. We have a bus that we purchased and we converted it into a computer lab. And the idea was, we under bold belief, some of our bold enthusiasts, they said that we want to help people in Pakistan get computer literate on computers and coding. So we thought about, okay, we'll start doing it. We'll start volunteering for it. But when we went to the schools where we wanted to make that impact, which were obviously not the city schools or beacon houses or LGSs of Pakistan, they didn't even have computers. So we were like, okay, then we cannot really help them. So let's go and help another school. But then we came up with the solution that why don't we just build the computer lab that we could take it to the school? And that's how Bold Bus came into being. So those are some of the initiatives that Alpha Bold has started and is continuing to build upon. And they really drive me. They keep me passionate, at least, about
It's
doing
very
more and
innovative,
more so
Tayyab.
that we
This
could.
is very innovative solution. I
Yeah,
like it.
it is actually. I wouldn't take credit for it though. It wasn't
Uh-huh.
necessarily my idea, but again, collectively we were able to come up with that. It did take us a year in Pakistan to build that Gold Bus, For
Mm-hmm.
those of you who want to see it, if you go to Alpha Board office in Lahore, it stands right outside in a parking
Mm-hmm.
lot. So you can see our board bus. You can also check it out on our website.
Oh, I'm going to do that. Absolutely. So, what advice would you give Nastians or anybody else who wants to start business of their own? What's your take on this?
Yeah, it's a very difficult question to answer, to be honest. But what I would say is that first of all, they just need to do whatever they are doing honestly. I think that's, if you ask me, one lesson learned in life is if you're honest with something, you'll always be successful in that. That's my very, very firm belief. But from the standpoint of starting a business, I think the first question they need to ask themselves is why do they want to start their own business? Like I said, if I reflect back, I have friends who don't own their own business, but they are very happy as well. And I have other friends who own their own business and they are not that happy. So it's about, why do you want to start your business? Is it just because you want to make more money? And I'm not saying this is good or bad, but you just need to know yourself. You need to know why you're doing it, because that then helps you stay true to whatever your reasons were to starting. And when chips are down, that helps you stay motivated, stay focused, because you can always fall back on that original purpose you have. So that is my first and foremost advice. And the second thing is they just have to be ready to work hard. Irrespective of how smart they are, they will have to work hard if they really want to achieve any big goal in their life, be it for this business or for anything else. But that's my advice to them. And I also want them to understand that it's never too late. So let's say if somebody who is listening to me, if they are already, say, being doing the job for the last 5, 7, 10 years, but this is what they always wanted to do, what they were passionate about, doing something of their own. Don't think too much, just do it. Just align on the fundamentals of why you're doing that, but don't try to come up with these plans that, okay, this is what will happen in the first year. It's like, you don't need that. Just align on the fundamentals, figure out what you want to do. If you have expertise in that, that's more power to you. If not, then gain some expertise and just jump in. That's the best way of learning. And as long as you're then willing to work hard for whatever mission you set for yourself, you'll inshallah get there.
Thank you so very much, Tayyab, for your insights about your journey, how you started the company, how you got into it. आजकल आप क्या कर रहे हैं? This 30-70 split, trying to give back to the country. Amazing. We need more people like yourself. और ये जो bold bus वाला idea है, fantastic. I love it. And I'm definitely going to go on your website to check the bus out. It's a very innovative way of finding a solution rather than, just saying, okay, there's a roadblock and we can't go. Okay, in this case, you have a roadblock, you're going around it. You're finding a way to navigate that roadblock, and I really love that innovation that you brought in. And more power to you, more power to your
Thank you.
team in
Thank
giving
you very
back
much.
to the community, your
Inshallah.
growth, and staying true to your vision, the triangle that you talked about. It was a pleasure talking to you and seeing, mashallah, say it's not just swimming that you have excelled at, and diving. You're doing wonderful, and hopefully, inshallah, one of these days when I'm in town or you're in town,
Inshallah.
we'll catch up.
Looking forward to it, Brian. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. Hopefully, somebody out there can listen to this and get inspired. And I would like to second what you said in the end. When you hit a roadblock, just find another way. Don't change your course. Don't change your mission. Don't change your aim. Just find another way. So thank you for sharing that too, actually. That was very kind.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian. Allah Hafiz.